Tony Molyneux is calling from Bury. Tony, you're through to Tony Blair.
Given the news of Railtrack's current poor share performance, this would seem to be the ideal time to take Railtrack back into public ownership, given that public money is going to have to go in there anyway, and that on all the available polls that have been done, it would be an extremely popular move, and this is supposed to be a popularist government.
There's also an email on that, Tony Blair, from David Bevan in Teignmouth. Will you please refuse to bail out Railtrack so that the company can be taken over at little cost to the taxpayer?
Well, the difficulty with this is, I mean, you're quite right in saying it would be a popular move and get us a big cheer, but I don't know that it would be very sensible for these two reasons. The first is that if we took back Railtrack, I mean, we would not have privatised the railways in the way that the Conservatives did. It was a disaster to do it in that way. But if we took it back, it's not just the share price that we'd pay for. We'd also have to take their debt back as well, and that's quite considerable. And in addition to that, it would probably take 2 years before we sorted everything out, and in those 2 years, we would have the railways in a state of paralysis and not able to start the investment programme that is there now waiting to go. And what we've tried to do instead is to get a greater measure of control through the body that we set up, the Strategic Rail Authority, and we've now put together a big forward investment programme for the railways and also for the roads over the next 10 years. And, you know, it would be actually wonderfully simple for me, Tony, to say, OK, let's take it back. The last government mucked it up. We're going to take it back, and I get a big cheer for it. But we have looked at it very carefully and decided that it really wouldn't be in the interests of the travelling public. And I think the thing we've got to do is recognise, and I believe this very strongly, that the truth about our railway system is that public and privately owned, we grossly underinvested in it over a long period of time, and we're paying the price for that now. And the answer, whether it's publicly or privately owned, is to get the investment in.
A quick comeback, Tony.
I do agree with all that, but since public money is going to have to go in there anyway, seemingly in increasing amounts, why not just do it by stealth, if you like, and say for every bit of public money that goes in there, we'll take public shares in the company, and eventually we'll have it back in public ownership.
Because then that's money that you haven't got available to put into the railways. And the point is that we can achieve that measure of control, incidentally, through the programme that we've got with them and through the fact that we are putting money in. It's the question of ownership that is the difficulty. And, you know, as I say, if it had been that easy to do, we would have done it. But the best advice we have, and I've looked at this quite carefully myself, is that it would take us 2 years. Meantime, we'd have just another huge reorganisation going on within Railtrack at the very point in time when actually you want them all concentrating on getting the rail recovery programme sorted out. And if you look at the state of our railways today, I mean, they're not you know, anywhere near where they should be, and we've got to make sure that nothing is standing in the way of getting that money in and getting on with the programme of change. So, I mean, I agree with you, and in a sense it would be a very easy thing to do, but if my honest opinion is that it wouldn't deliver us a better railway, then I think it's my job to tell people that.